I want you to imagine that you go to the grocery store and you buy a carton of eggs, a pack of bacon, and a loaf of bread. You go home and you make enough breakfast for you and another person. So maybe 4 eggs and 6 pieces of bacon and 2 pieces of toast. You make the breakfast and then you just take the rest of what you bought and you throw it out. That is kind of what happens when people record a podcast episode, release the audio, and then never do anything else with it. See, you can do so much with every podcast episode, and that's what I'm going to teach you about today. Hey everybody, my name's Joe Casabona. I'm the evangelist here at RSS.com, and today I'm going to show you how you can leverage the tools built into RSS.com to repurpose your audio podcast and turn it into a blog post and drive more traffic to your show. Let's get started. Okay, so here is one of the podcasts that I have hosted on RSS.com. It's called the TIL Podcast, and it's a show about learning something new. And I have a new episode here, newish episode, called 10 Lessons I Learned from 300 Podcast Episodes. So at this point, I've published hundreds of podcast episodes, and I thought that I would publish the top 10 lessons I learned from the first 300 of my flagship show. What we can do here, the first thing that we'll do is generate a transcript of the episode, which with RSS.com, you can do completely for free. You don't need to pay for another transcription service or buy credits to have Transcript or AI tools added. This is something that we include on all paid plans. So I am going to press the transcript button. I'll have it auto generate a transcript. I'll click continue, and then I can choose. Do I want it to be a low accuracy, medium accuracy, or high accuracy transcript? The lower, the faster. I'm going to choose medium. 30 minutes of audio takes about 4.5 minutes to transcribe. So I'm going to generate that transcript, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we have our transcript. It's right here. The draft is ready for review, so we can accept the transcript and edit it later. So what I'm going to do here is accept the transcript, and then I'm going to click through and I'm going to copy it to my clipboard. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is upload the transcript to an AI tool, and I'm going to have it fix the typos and any grammar issues, like any issues that might be in the transcripts. Then I'm going to have it summarize the transcript and write a blog post. So I'm using a tool called Perplexity Pro. I really like Perplexity. It connects to a bunch of different AI tools. And because I'm paying for it, it can upload larger transcripts. So since this is a 30-minute podcast about, I have a pretty long transcript for it. You can do the same thing with any AI tool that you use. So if you use ChatGPT, I think ChatGPT Plus accepts longer input, or Claude, you can use those two tools as well. Use the one that you're most comfortable with. I really like Perplexity. Another reason I'm going to use Perplexity for this is because I have it trained on my writing and my podcast episodes, and so it's more likely that it's going to get my style a little bit better, and so I'll have to do less editing on the back end. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So I am going to say I'm attaching a transcript from a podcast episode. Can you correct the spelling and grammar issues in it? So then I will attach the file. I will use Pro here, and then with Perplexity, I can also choose the focus. So I'm going to make the focus writing. All right, so now you can see it's going to go through and correct. And something that I'll do off camera for this is actually read through it really quick to make sure there's no glaring errors in it. But this is going to be vastly helpful because I'm not going to have to read it as carefully as I might if I'm just kind of going through and correcting it. So we're going to let this do its thing. And once it's done, we're going to ask it to actually create a blog post for us. Now, I will say, right, depending on the tool you use, like I alluded to, you might have an issue where the output is longer. And so you can see the first prompt or the first response cut off right here at the 14-minute mark roundabout. And so I just asked it to continue, and then it continued seamlessly. Lots of my guests have talked about how you need to specialize. So it's going to go through and continue to do the transcription for the entire podcast. Okay, so you can see here that the transcript is done. It kind of lost the timestamps around the 22-minute mark. I don't know if there was a formatting issue or something like that, but we do have a proofread version of the transcript. And so you can take this and copy it, clean it up, and put it back into rss.com because, again, you can make those adjustments here. The other thing that you can do is ask it to summarize and create a blog post. So I'll say, thanks. Now can you summarize the episode and turn this transcript into a blog post using my writing style. I'm aiming for 700 to 1,000 words. All right, so now it's going to generate a blog post, and it looks like the headings are just the lessons. This is really good, right? A little paragraph for each. Really love this. And this is probably going to be pretty close to what I would consider publishing. I will just give a note here, right? I'm pretty opinionated about not letting AI just do the writing for you. So what this is doing here is it's summarizing my words and creating a blog post. What I would do for my content here is go through and really punch this up, right? I'd probably add a story to the beginning. I'd add a conclusion to the end. But I would definitely go through and make sure it's written in my style. I would read it and make sure it makes sense and probably make some modifications to it. But this is, if we go back here, this is at least a really good starting point. Actually, this is probably a little bit better than a starting point because I did, like I said, I spent a lot of time training Perplexity on the way I write and talk and how I produce blog posts and how I produce podcasts. So we have thrilled. So, I mean, here, like, I would change this intro, right? So, like, that's the first thing. But then it's got the top 10 takeaways, the future of how I built it, or what was then called how I built it, and then some final thoughts and a call to action. I really like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go to my WordPress site and paste in the results here. Perplexity adds its own little information. So we'll get rid of that. And then it gives us a good title here as well. So I'll add the title. Get rid of all this stuff. Now, this isn't the only thing that we can do for the blog post. We can actually go in and grab the embed code for this episode. So if I click on the three dots and click share, and then I click embed, I can embed the episode. I can choose from a color, light, or dark theme. I generally like the dark, so I'll click the embed code. I'll go here into WordPress. I'm using WordPress for this, but you can use whatever you'd like. I'm going to open the HTML block, add the embed, and click preview. So now we have a podcast player at the top so people can listen or read the blog post. The final thing I'll do here is actually link to the episode's website here on rss.com. And so the way I'll do that is I'll click the public website here in my dashboard. It'll take me to the public website. And here there's a lot of good stuff, right? There is just the general podcast website where you can get a list of episodes, subscribe and listen, copy the RSS feed if you want to listen in your app of choice. And then the share button is going to be here again for us to share the website or embed the latest episode or the show. So that is the general website. So what I'll do is here, right above, or maybe I'll put it towards the bottom. So I'll get rid of this and I'll say, want even more episodes of, check out the full catalog here. So I'll add that here. In WordPress, you can highlight text, and if you have a link on your clipboard, you could press Command V, but you can also click the link icon that shows up. And then the very last thing I'll do is click on the episode, and we have a description here. So I can replace this episode notes with the summary that we got from AI. We also have the transcript. The reason that we want to maintain timestamps here in the transcript for our rss.com website is because if I click on one of these timestamps, it's going to jump to that point in the episode, which is super cool. So people can kind of skim and they say, oh, book through a podcasting agent. What does that mean? Click and then play just that part of the episode. A really nice way to create a better experience if people are just skimming or they just want to hear part of the episode. So that's another reason why we might want to link directly to this page, this rss.com page. So I'm going to copy this link to my clipboard. And at the very top, I can say you can listen using the player above or get a full transcript and subscribe links on the episodes page. And then I'm just going to paste the URL here. Now this, I'm linking to the transcript, so let's make sure I'm not doing that. I'll try that again. And so now if I click publish, we can view the post and we have our full player where people can listen right on the page. They can go visit the website or they can read the blog post and there's a call to action to go to the full catalog. So that's it for this video. We covered a lot of ground here, right? We learned how to generate free automatic transcripts with rss.com. We used an AI tool to clean up that transcript and summarize it and turn it into a blog post. We took that blog post and put it on our website. We embedded the episode on the blog post page. And then we learned how to leverage our rss.com website, which again comes free with every podcast that's hosted with rss.com, to create a better listening experience for our listeners. Now, if you already have rss.com, this is all going to be there as part of your paid account. The transcripts, the website, the jumping to specific sections, the listening buttons, the embed code, all that. If you are not an rss.com customer, I would strongly recommend you head over to rss.com. And if you are switching from another host, guess what? We'll give you 6 months for free. So again, you can find all of that over at rss.com or in the description for this video. But that's it for this video. I'm Joe Casabona. I'm the evangelist here at rss.com. If any of this looked interesting to you, leave a comment below, like this video, and let me know, What do you want to see next? What else are you wondering? Hey, how can I leverage RSS.com to make a better listening experience for my audience? I want to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you out there.